Hi everyone, welcome to the Date Podcast. I am your host, Emma Pineda, and I'm here with my wonderful friend, Zorric Sia.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Good!
Yay! And again, we are joined by the wonderful Anna.
Oh, you got it!
First try.
You get a gold star.
Yay! I love gold stars. Those were my favorite growing up.
Oh, wow.
I love validation though.
We still do. We all need it.
We all do.
Must have it.
Sometimes I just ask my friends, I don't care if you agree or disagree, I just need you to validate me.
Am I pretty today?
Yes, you are very
Thank
pretty.
you.
You guys are both very pretty.
Thank you.
So speaking of pretty, Leonardo DiCaprio.
No.
I love him.
Yeah.
No.
We've talked about age before, right?
Oh,
How
God.
age does or does not matter. But he's dating Camila Morone, and
Okay.
she's 20, and he's 43.
He's like a beautiful fine wine though. Like George Clooney and him. Ooh.
So again,
That's so creepy to me. Like that could be your child.
Exactly.
it can be, but
It could. No, it probably is your child. No,
it-
I don't know. I'm joking. I'm just petty.
who knows? But what kind of stood out is that it says here that DiCaprio he says he's ready to be serious with her.
No. Hello, Leo. My name is Emma Pineda. I will make you more than happy. So come date me.
Well, John Cena's around. Let's try him
He's
first.
taken.
Me
Me first.
I'm more of a Leo type.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Or Chris Pratt.
Chris
He's single
Pratt.
too.
Okay. Who else?
I
The
want
Rock.
Channing Tatum.
Oh, Channing Tatum. Okay.
Isn't
Isn't
The Rock
he sing-
married?
Yes, but
Oh, okay. A
We're
girl
just
can dream.
fantasizing here.
Okay, that's true. No, I'm being realistic here, y'all.
Oh,
No, I'm
okay.
joking.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about more mistakes. So the biggest online dating mistakes you might be guilty of by Livy Charleston. And this is in the Honey9 magazine or blog. And so she has 3 blunders that people make.
Yeah.
And their first one is looks are everything, where people think looks are everything. But obviously they aren't, right?
They aren't, but we are very visual people.
Very
and
much.
again, like, we're basing everything on those pictures that we're seeing. And so if your pictures are like what you don't find attractive, then you're not going to like I've said before, like I might look at their profile to kind of see what their personality is. But then again, if I'm like, I'm really not feeling it, then you're going to have 2 things against you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I'm going to swipe left.
Yeah, and she says that she talks about a story about, I guess, a friend or someone she's writing about. But the gist of it is, she says that if a man looks incredibly good like Leo, you should be wary.
I am.
I have, and I've actually had a story about that.
Oh, have you?
I've talked to someone, and I kind of broke my own rule. I never talk for more than a few days before meeting, but circumstances, I ended up talking to him for several weeks, and the conversation was interesting. Tons of red flags. I ignored him because he was absolutely hot. This gorgeous, gorgeous
All
man
those go out the-
went
Yes.
out the window, and the minute I met him, I was asking where his grandson was.
Oh my! So he was much older.
He was way, way, way older. He
Like-
literally looked like grandpa.
Oh my gosh!
At that point, he could have been anyone. I don't care,
Oh
but
my
Huh.
gosh!
at least 30-year difference from the picture.
No. So did you
That was
ask?
bad.
Did you say, "Hey"?
I did.
And
I
what
said,
was-
"You are not your picture,"
Ooh.
and he said, "But it's still me."
But it's not the like most recent representation of you.
Absolutely not. And he was very taken aback that I left.
Yeah.
I mean, don't be surprised, guys, like, or girls, like, don't be surprised if you're not looking like. Here's my issue with like women. Like, yes, I believe in makeup. I love makeup on myself. Like, I don't leave the house without it. However, I think that like wearing too much, it doesn't do anything. It just gives the illusion of something that you're not. And then my sister always jokes, like, we take it off and we look like the Grim Reaper. And it's like, ugh, what do you look like? But it's true. Like, we cake it on and then we take it off and it's like, you're a whole different person.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, and she goes on to say that attraction is definitely important, and I think we all agree, but you still should screen the men carefully because attractive men are just as likely to be she says arseholes, players, or narcissists, almost separated.
This is from
as
Australia,
the
by
next
the way.
person. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so do your research, I think, because be skeptical too.
Isn't that why a lot of the dating apps are now asking you to link like your Insta or your Facebook to your whatever profile you're using so that you can have the more realistic pictures or the more true pictures?
Yeah, I think one thing is that, and the second thing is to make it easy for you to log in.
Okay.
Because everyone...
I think it's more of a login thing than the pictures.
Everyone has a login on Facebook. You just click a button and they take all of your information, like, you know, what's going on, right?
Right.
So, but yeah, it's a way to log in quickly, basically. But yeah, I think also there's an app called The League. We've talked about it briefly, but
we have.
they kind of look at your LinkedIn profile and then you sign in through that, and then they, based on your, I guess, job or whatever, they
match you up.
Well, they don't let everybody in, basically. So they kind of screen you a little bit. So
I want to have that job. I want to screen people.
Yeah.
I screen people for a living, so it's not as exciting as you think.
Oh, okay.
No.
Oh, darn.
Gotcha. So another blunder number 2 is that don't assume you're the only woman he's dating.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, no, it's sort of like dating on like online dating is like you have appetizers. Like, do you want to just have one thing? No, you want to have a bunch of different appetizers.
It's a buffet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to have options.
I do.
Yeah, and it's different for everyone because some people like I hear that a lot of women like to date one person. I think men like to date more than one person, but also there's levels. Like for example, when you hit certain points in the like, let's say you're sleeping with somebody. Some people are fine with sleeping with multiple people, some aren't, and you know. So again, I think we've talked about it's about setting expectations.
Right.
Yeah.
And like again, like knowing the shared values that you have. So if you like, obviously, like you maybe. I think we've spoken about this, like you kind of bring it up on the first date, but not really. But then like later on, if you start seeing that it's serious, like have that conversation. But I don't think it's fair for you to think that you're the only person that someone is seeing.
Or to be expected, or have the same expectation.
Right.
And don't ask me after the first date, hey, how did your other dates go? Are you dating anyone else?
Oh.
And it's happening way too often.
Is it really?
It is way, way too often.
Yikes.
So how many dates do you have this week?
None, yeah.
None of your business.
but I think maybe as a man, it's like the competitive nature in us. So we want to know, just like searching for a job, we want to know how many candidates are, you know, up for the job.
I get that, but that's I don't know. It just kind of gives
like a very territorial,
like you're not
like you're already like questioning me and who I am, and yeah
you're not confident to ask me out a date again.
Yeah,
that's a great point. Like you should not worry about anybody else but you, because as a man you're the one who's trying to make the good impression on you. Exactly. Right. And I think if I'm asking about who else are you dating, then it seems like I'm already just not confident, basically.
Lack of confidence.
You're my property.
But I think the number one thing here is just Carrie says that don't assume that others follow the same moral codes as you.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
That's a big deal, right?
We all have different values, people.
Mm-hmm. And the last blunder here is not screening people well before you meet. So, and this means asking questions, because sometimes you might meet somebody that's married or that's in a relationship or that just broke up with somebody like yesterday, or maybe in some sort of it's complicated relationship. Like, what do you guys think about that?
I did the show up on the date and learned 2 weeks later that he was married.
Oh my gosh.
I actually ran into him and his wife, but that's besides the point.
Oh, that's lovely.
That was very fantastic. Great
bet.
brunch that day. But yes, people.
Lots of mimosas?
Oh, it was a bar right next door. And I don't even drink that much. No, definitely screen people better.
Yeah. Yeah, ask questions. Like she says here, ask questions about, let's say, how long have you been separated? What are you looking for? Where do you live? Just to make sure that you don't waste your time.
Yeah, and again, it's annoying. Like, we've spoken about this too. Like, it's annoying the fact that we have to ask, are you single?
Mm-hmm.
Even if the profile states that you're single, still ask. Regardless, still ask.
Yeah. It's annoying, but again, like, this is where we are, people. This is what we have to do.
I find that I ask often somebody who's recently separated, I ask them, what makes you think that you're ready to date again?
Oh.
And answers can be very different and interesting.
What do you typically get?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm ready to move on. I don't want to be lonely.
Oh, so it's not really.
It's desperation.
It's more of like the fear of being alone.
That's what
a
I
red
get.
flag, people.
That's what I get.
That's
what
a red flag.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
That could be codependency.
Yep. Nope.
Yeah.
I move on. No, if that's the answer, then no, thank you.
Anna's got it. She runs as fast as she can.
She's got her
like,
rollerblades on.
I'm gonna get out of here faster.
Run, Forrest, run.
And the last thing she talks about here is don't spend weeks texting before you meet up.
Cardinal rule.
Yeah.
Because you can have a great witty banter between each other. You can have time to like think of your text messages. You can kind of ask friends, but hey, is this funny? Is this witty? But in the end, you guys got to meet face to face.
Yeah.
There's been
Right.
way too many times where you're talking nonstop all day. Conversation's phenomenal. It's flowing. You've met your soulmate. You show up and they can't string 3 words together to make a sentence.
Yeah.
And you sit for an hour and a half going, what just happened to me?
Oh
my
my
day
gosh.
is gone. I will never get it back again.
No.
Like, who is this person, right?
Who are you?
Yeah.
Bring the other one back.
Yeah.
Nope.
So I guess when you do text, ask those questions. Like ask about separation or how long have you been single or are you single? But then again, sometimes you don't know until later on. So I guess people will lie anyways, regardless.
Right. I mean, and so I definitely see like why people will string along to text and have more chemistry over text messages because it kind of breaks down that wall of nervousness of I have time to think. I have time to talk to someone about like, is this text funny? Do you think she's going to like it or he's going to like it? But then in person it's, hi.
My favorite one was there was no communication. There was just, I don't know, but that's okay. So finally I asked, what's your hobby? Do you have a hobby? He's like, what is a hobby?
Oh.
Check, please.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like the
Do you think
worst
he was
date.
just
It was.
nervous or?
No, I just think that's the personality. He doesn't really have much going on in his life. And he's just, that's what he does. Nothing. He told me he likes to research things. That was one of his hobbies when we figured out what hobby is.
Cool.
So when I asked him, what was the last thing you researched? He's like, well, I didn't research anything today. I was like, all right, great. What was yesterday? No.
So how long was that back and forth banter going on?
And the texting was just a couple of days.
Uh-huh.
The date was an hour and a half that I am still very angry about that I'll never get back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kept throwing angry looks at the waiters. Check now.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Did you pay or how did
I
that
paid
happen?
my half. I
Okay.
insisted on paying my half, and
Mm-hmm.
I was happy to run away. Actually, at that moment, I decided I'm never going on a date again. It's going to be coffee dates from now on.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Everyone has their thing, so.
An hour and a half. No,
So did you wouldn't go on a second date?
never.
And have you been on a date after that?
Yes.
Was it a coffee date?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Did
good.
it go to a second date?
Hold on a second. I'm thinking about it.
Hi everyone, this is Emma. I've recently found a dating app I've enjoyed using, Bopsy. Simply, it's video speed dating. Bopsy gives me the ability to meet 6 guys through live video. At the end of each session, I pick either C for like or Bop for dislike. When we both like each other, we continue the connection over chat messaging. Check it out today at bopsy.com.
How many people actually feel chemistry on the first date? And this is by Kristen
Yep.
Magaldi. And to me, the first date is like a job interview. You
You and I are on the same page with this.
yeah. And then the thing is, you got to talk about yourself. I'd rather be on like an exit interview, honestly, because you're not really. I'm like, okay, give me my package and let me get out of here. And there's expectations on the first date, and so. The first date can be exactly like a job interview, but the article talks about how chemistry is not always felt on the first date. What do you guys think?
I
Highly disagree.
Oh, you disagree. Okay.
Good.
has
I
to
want to
be on the
hear both
first.
sides.
I've tried the second and maybe even third date, and it just confirms that I feel nothing for this person.
Okay, so you've never had a bad first date but good second date?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
What do you feel? Is it like a mental kind of connection that was missing, or was there no physical
There was just
attraction?
no spark, no, like, hug me lightly. Please don't kiss me.
Yeah, I'm gonna awkwardly move my face.
Exactly. Yes.
All right, the other side, Emma. What do you think?
I'm confused now, but basically, like, my point is that I can definitely see, like, both things. I think we have an expectation of, ooh, I'm meeting this person, like, we've built this up, it's gonna be beautiful and magical, and it falls flat. But I do, so, like, I think that the thought that this first date is gonna be all beautiful and we're gonna have so much chemistry and we're gonna fall in love with each other is unrealistic. But like, don't give up on it, because, like, if you've been texting and you have a connection, it can just be like first date nerves, because you are just like making a first impression and it's the first time that you're meeting someone in person. It is awkward.
Yeah, and the article talks about how, like, you could mess up. Like, you can, for example, it says here, spill coffee all over your shirt, or take them to a steakhouse when they're vegan or vegetarian. I think people are mostly understanding as long as, like, you didn't tell her that you drove a stolen car to the date, or
there's a body in the trunk.
There's a body in the trunk.
Or you've been to jail.
You've been to jail, or you find out you guys are related somehow. Then, those are all deal breakers, right? But then the second date, I think you can. They say you can find that, and there's a survey it says here. It says a match survey found that 59% of both men and women don't expect to feel any chemistry until the second date.
Yeah.
Thoughts? That's
I'm
more than
conflicted.
majority, right? Yeah.
I'm conflicted on that, just because in my experience up until the last year, it's always been, I would go on a date, there would be crazy chemistry, and a relationship is formed.
Chemistry. So how do you quantify that then? So what is that in your, like, what is chemistry to you?
You can't stop thinking about that person.
Okay.
You want to.
Well, how about during the date, right? Like
During the day, you just can't stop smiling.
Okay.
You just,
like, you get
your
like the
cheeks
butterflies.
hurt. You get
and
I don't actually get the butterflies, but I get that, like, almost giddy feeling.
is it a
like,
sexual feeling too?
No,
Okay.
absolutely not necessarily. I shouldn't say absolutely not. no. Let's not go there. Not necessarily, but definitely get that giddy feeling. Like, oh my God, I am so excited about you. Like, you feel like that person that you fulfill me. I don't know, whatever. But you get that warm and fuzzy almost, where it's like, so how's your food? What'd you do?
Do you think John Cena would give you that warm and fuzzy?
I'm sure he would. He's so pretty to look at.
He does have a great personality.
He does. And he does so many great things in the world. For people, other people.
Anna's available. She's right here next to me.
Come on over. I am single.
Gotcha. So, okay. So based on its article, so, there's a split decision here, 50-50. You may or may not have chemistry, but also the second point is things might not get sexy right off the bat either.
No.
Right? Mm-mm. Because, this is not related, but the Notebook or the Titanic, right? Like, they didn't, like, fall in love day one. It kind of, like, grew, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Didn't it slowly?
No, there was a spark.
Well, there's a spark, yeah.
Yes.
But then they didn't, like, it wasn't sexy all the time. It was sexy time the whole time.
I think they were just very reserved. They had to keep it quiet, for the show, for the movie.
The era, maybe. Yeah.
Got to be appropriate. Mm-hmm. But I do agree with you, though. Sometimes you could just feel like that very comfortable feeling with someone. Yeah. You get the warm and fuzzies. And then the second date, you're like, oh, you've been working out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like lust comes and plays a picture or a part in this, and so like if it doesn't happen on the first date, like that's okay. Like you have more time to get to know this person, and I think that I do believe that the spark can come later, but like don't try to get that spark either. Like don't force it. Yeah,
agreed.
Yeah. And then the survey also discovered that over a third of men and women don't expect to feel any sort of sexiness until the third date. I think sexiness could also mean sex. Is that what they're alluding to?
I think that's just like dependent on you.
Yeah.
Because for me, sexiness like it doesn't always just mean sex.
Maybe
it just
holding
means like the level of
hands,
it. Yeah,
you
like
know.
the level of
Intimacy.
attractiveness. Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, calm down. Right.
Oh my God, come on.
Calm
now.
down.
Family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do, like, and so I went on a date a few weeks ago, and with this guy, and so we only did a first date. We spoke for a few days, or we texted for a few days, and then we actually went on a date. So I don't know, the first date was kind of iffy for me, and so like
There's no chemistry, or
there
like
was.
what?
I did not feel any chemistry. I felt like he was more of a.
Wait, Emma. So what is chemistry to you, real quick?
For me, like it kind of goes back to like I get butterflies in my stomach.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I meet someone, I get the butterflies in my stomach, and I am very giddy about meeting them. I'm like, in my head, I'll start like thinking about like, oh, like what happens if this happened? Like the what if scenarios.
Yeah.
And so that's how I know that like I'm really excited. And so when I meet them in person, I'm like, okay, this like makes me really happy. And I do kind of like what you said, like get the warm and fuzzies too. And like the butterflies just continue. And the whole time I'm like nervous about what I'm going to say, and I'm analyzing everything that I'm saying. And that's how I know that like I have the attraction. And then with the person, like, I'm a very sarcastic person, and I like to.
Fluent in sarcasm.
Yeah,
huh?
I'm fluent in
You're
sarcasm,
that
right?
one.
I'm that person. Ooh.
We crapped on people last.
We did, yeah.
episode.
I don't say it, but you know,
Yeah.
I am. And so like if they can kind of be sarcastic back with me, or like have little jokes with me and like puns, I think, you know, and kind of it's just a good
Sense of humor. I
yeah,
think you're
sense of
saying,
humor.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were missing that, so I wasn't already feeling it. And then but he continued the conversation. So the date ended, he continued the conversation, and then I kind of was flirting back. And when I flirted, he made a comment, and I was like, well, like I'm flirting. Like I'm flirting with you.
Yeah. Oh, he took it seriously.
He took it serious, and he's like, I didn't think that you found me attractive. And I was like, well, then why are you talking to me?
That's a letdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, so why are you talking to me? He's like, well, I was expecting like things would change with you. And I was like, okay, thank you, bye.
Oh my gosh.
Like, no, we're not gonna do this. And you know, like, I didn't feel any chemistry on the first date, so it was easy for me to let go. Yeah.
Yeah, and then speaking of that, it says here 53% of men and women are willing to go on a second date with someone, even if they felt no romantic chemistry with them on date number one. So I guess it's kind of, you know, I don't know if it's proving our point, or I think we're all, I think we're all confused. I'm like, well,
I think we're all confused about this at this
yeah.
point. I think we all just want to we all want to find love. We all want to be in relationships. We all want to find like a person to be with, you know, whatever that means for us. And I think that we like continue looking for it because either like that's what we think is expected of us, or that's what we expect of ourselves. And so we just continue looking for it until we find it. And
yeah,
it's okay to not find it.
Yeah, and Anna, have you ever had love at first sight?
Yes.
You
Ooh.
have. How does it feel?
Giddy at
Again,
its
okay.
finest. Just you can't stop thinking about this person.
Huh.
It was actually funny because how I met my ex was we met online. For some reason, I thought he was a stalker, so I was ignoring him for 2 weeks. He kept trying and trying and trying. And he finally caught me at a bad moment. I'm like, fine, I'll go out with you. And I did everything you kind of don't do on a first date. Back then I was a smoker, so I smoked, and I kept talking about having 4 children and tons of dogs and cats and a horse and an elephant. And he just
so you were
kept
lying, or you really?
No, I was very honest.
Oh, okay.
I was just way too honest
Okay.
for a first
Brutally.
date.
You said
yeah.
elephant, that threw me off.
Yeah.
Well, if I could have one, I would.
Oh,
but
okay.
Yeah.
but by the end of the date, I was so head over heels, I couldn't stop thinking about him. And within 6 months, we moved in, and 6 years later, it's over.
Nice.
And so, yeah, I think that's how you know you have chemistry with someone. It's like when you can't stop thinking about them after that first date. I don't think it's going to happen like in that moment. Like it's not happening in the moment. It's like it really kind of like seeps in afterwards.
Yep. By the end of the date, I mean, at first I was, oh my gosh, you're short, you're too skinny, what are you doing here? Your hair's too curly. I don't care. But it was just, I did
You were finding
everything
everything bad about him.
I was looking for those things. I just want to get rid of him. And by the end of the night, I was, oh my God, I am in love. What is this crazy feeling? And
Yeah.
that's it. I couldn't think of anything else. In the morning, he was like, hi, how are you?
Yeah.
Had a great time last night. When do I get to see you again?
That's Emma. Have you had that love at first sight feeling or scenario?
I have, but
Yeah.
it wasn't reciprocated, so I had to let it
okay.
go.
Oh,
I gotcha.
I know.
Those
It's
are
okay.
sad.
It was
Yeah, it's
sad.
okay.
I was really nervous too, though,
Mhm.
and I was really anxious about it, and so like I did everything that I shouldn't have done, and I
Mhm.
think he was like really turned off by it, and I was like, I
Oh.
can make a better second impression, but he didn't ask me out. And it was
Yeah.
a blind date too, so
okay.
I know.
Okay. I think the only time I've had a love at first sight experience is when I walked into Sprinkles Cupcakes, because it just smelled so good and tasted so good.
So it's
So
more
it's
about the
false
cupcake.
advertising.
I was like, oh my gosh, love food. But I'm a big foodie, guys, by the way.
Yeah, he is.
So second dates, it says also here, that's where the real judgment happens.
Yeah.
So
'Cause I think you let yourself down, like you let loose a little bit. You're like, you're not so worried about that first impression.
Yeah.
You're like, I can be a little bit more relaxed. I can be a little bit more goofy
Mhm.
or more myself, whatever that means. So you kind of just,
For me,
Let
it's
it go.
usually nope, didn't work for me.
oh.
It's usually just like a staple, like the final nail kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
No, but if you did approve the person, you approved of the person the first date. So the second date, what does that entail? It's just a continuation. Of
It's a continuation of the
okay.
first
You're
date.
not like trying to figure things out. So basically, if you say yes to the guy, you're gonna keep dating you're gonna keep going on dates, basically.
Yes,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Okay.
So it can work to your favor. And
Until that spark happens.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if there's no spark, there's just, I found that after a couple of dates, it's like, all right, there's nothing. There's just nothing. Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
you're wasting time and money, both ways, right?
Absolutely.
You could be, drooling over John Cena on E Network or something.
And I don't even have to leave my house for that.
yeah. Yeah.
PJs and all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And your comfortable couch or on your comfortable bed,
Exactly.
whatever it is.
Me and my crazy dogs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So Emma, on the second date, it talks about that's when the judgment happens. So are you looking for something in particular?
I don't think so. I'm not looking for anything specifically. Like,
Just if you guys can laugh and banter.
yeah. I just want like general things. Like, are we meshing? Are we not? And then if we're not, like maybe that's where my judgment's coming in. Like, ugh,
Yeah.
we don't banter well. Like we did the first date, but we don't now.
But have your exes like bantered or have your past? So that's like a prerequisite for you. Like you gotta be able to banter.
Because I love being sarcastic, and so you kind of have to take my jokes, and I want you to like joke with me, and
It's no fun if you have to interpret a joke.
Yeah.
and like I don't get jokes, but I get sarcasm. So
Yeah. But
be
I think
sarcastic
that-
with me.
I think that happens gradually though. Like sometimes you have these walls up, and you guys, one person may be bantering, but one person might be serious. But the
Right.
person who's serious maybe it takes him longer to just kind of let his hair loose, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. So the last thing here it says is that men are all for seeing how things play out. 80% of men are more likely than women to go on a date with someone that they don't feel a connection yet with, but they just want to see how it goes.
Right.
Right. So
Why is that?
I think because we saw something like a potential, but we're not sure. Maybe it's like trying something out, and maybe we'll fall into something. Maybe there's something that will, maybe we'll mesh up. Maybe I'll find something out about her that oh my gosh, this is a gem, and then that's gonna bond us, and we'll keep dating.
Because again, like I don't think that you're gonna, like I can definitely see that because you're not gonna find those gems on the first date. Because I can definitely like if you're like a very anxious person and really nervous and it's overwhelming, like you're not putting your best foot forward. And so on the second date, like if you are more relaxed, it like proves Zorric's point where it's like, oh, she actually does this or he actually does this, and oh, this is actually a really like fun quality I didn't realize she or he had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think chemistry, it's about two people. It's about, we're two elements, and maybe we mesh together and we make poop.
You had to say that somewhere.
Or maybe we make like Febreze, where we smell like nothing and nothing happens. Or maybe we make something beautiful like Sprinkles cupcakes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So
I want a donut.
So, Anna, do you have
I
any
cookies at home?
Oh, you should have brought them. But,
Oh,
okay. Oh no.
sorry.
Anna, do you have anything you want to wrap up with?
I kind of wish I didn't have to rely on that chemistry thing on the first date. I almost feel like that's doesn't play in my favor.
So what would you tell people like about chemistry in your perspective?
Be on a lookout, but don't make it your priority.
Yeah.
Give it a date or 2 or 3, but don't get jaded like me, where it has to happen on the first date or it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So just be more open-minded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, Emma,
Yeah.
what do you have?
Yeah, like the same thing. Like, let's not have these unrealistic expectations of
yeah.
ourselves.
Yeah.
And like dating is fun. That's what it should be about. Like, you're just, getting to know this person, and yeah, you may feel overwhelmed or nervous or whatever it is, but just have fun with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fun. Don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah.
And
At least not on the first date. Like, wait until the 3rd or 4th date to start taking yourself seriously.
yeah.
And talk about credit scores and all.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
If you have an
Yeah.
FBI contact, like, do the background check at that point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, Emma, how can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at its_Emma P.
Great. And you can find me, Zorric Sia, at Instagram and Twitter as well. And this is the Date Podcast. Thanks for listening. Bye, everyone.
Bye.